Welcome back to Madman Review. It's looking like countless law enforcement agencies are leaning towards militarization these days, and the IRS is included. Surprisingly, an agency tasked with tax collection now possesses weaponry and military grade gear worth millions of taxpayer dollars. The concept of the IRS morphing into a quasi military entity raises a lot of eyebrows. In this video, we will explore the top 6 firearms in the IRS's arsenal, talk about their purpose, discuss the implications of this stupid militarization for us taxpayers, and delve into the legal and constitutional matters surrounding this move. Now, just a bit of a background, the IRS has its roots in the Civil War era. Established in 1862 to fund the Union Army, it has been handling America's taxes for many years. Throughout its history, the IRS has seen a ton of changes, from the establishment of the initial income tax in 1913 to the bolstering of its enforcement capabilities in the 1950s and 60s. Presently, the IRS employs advanced tech to catch tax evaders, a significant leap from its original mandate. But its primary role is tax collection, not law enforcement. But the IRS has been taking cues from China's more aggressive Marxist playbook in recent times. Some speculate this shift might be because they think the US military is useless, and you can't blame them. The USMC has been infected with woke ideology in recent years. Instead of red-blooded fighting men, it's now full of all sorts of weirdos, left-leaning feminists, members of the alphabet community, and clueless soy boys. Ugh. But I digress. The White House claims that this militarization is primarily to bolster administrative roles and target high-earning individuals who may be evading their tax obligations. Yeah, right. How are they going to do that? By hiring Call of Duty LARPers? No kidding. To be specific, in August 2022, the IRS posted a job ad on their website with requirements to include the utmost levels of honesty, integrity, and a touch of bloodthirst. Candidates would be signing up for at least 50 hours a week with 24/7 on-call duties. The role entails being physically fit to handle emergencies, carrying a firearm, and being prepared to use lethal force when necessary. Oh, and they would be involved in making arrests and implementing search warrants. The chatter around this post led the IRS to momentarily pull the listing. However, it's back online. Simply search IRS Criminal Investigation Special Agent, and it should pop up at the top. So when it comes to doing their job, the IRS isn't playing games. They're prepared to take drastic steps, even if it involves taking your assets, your properties, and even your life. This initiative is backed by an $80 billion funding, anchored under the Inflation Reduction Act. A unanimous vote was seen on both sides, every Democrat in favor and every Republican against. But I can't help but think, is this merely a move to target the wealthy, considering that 14 times the allocated budget is directed toward quote-unquote enforcement over taxpayer services? It's not something easily ignored. So what's with this enforcement? They're making it look like it revolves around audit procedures. They're supposedly targeting only the wealthy, for which they've recruited a stunning 87,000 staff and accumulated 5 million rounds of ammunition, alongside an arsenal to match. But there's a bit of a disconnect. With only 756 billionaires in the nation, wouldn't 756 auditors suffice? Why the need for such 87,000 members, eh? Well, again, because it's for militarization, not for policing or anything. To illustrate the Inspector General's inquiry into 229 citizens subjected to this audit enforcement revealed concerning practices. None were informed of their rights or given advance notice. Just 18% received any warning before their assets or properties were seized. Moreover, out of 252 scrutinized audit enforcement cases, a mere 21 showed genuine breaches of tax laws, a scanty 9%. The question now is, what's the point of this militarization? I can't think of any reason besides asset confiscation, with anyone getting in their way facing the risk of property seizure. And if we oppose this, legal avenues exist. But the odds are against us, given that an estimated 92% reportedly experienced unjust property seizures so far, and nobody cares. Now, as for the IRS's weaponry, as of 2020, their armory boasted an impressive 5 million rounds of ammo for their 2,159 special agents. Their available ammo included 165 grain 40 Smith & Wesson 5.7 by 28mm, double-aught buck and slugs for 12-gauge shotguns, and 5.56 for rifles. Want to know what guns they bought with our money? We came up with a list. Number 6, Glock 23. The Glock 23, despite the evolutions across its generations, remains consistent with the core features that distinguish Glock's 40 caliber pistols. It's renowned for its reliability and the ease with which it can be converted to 357 SIG or 9mm. A simple barrel change is all that's needed. While 40 Smith & Wesson ammunition might not be as cost-effective as 9mm, it is still widely available. There are a couple of trade-offs with the Glock 23, however. It has a stouter recoil and a lower magazine capacity than the Glock 19, but it does strike a balance between carryability and shootability. Its standard 13-round magazine is also sufficient for most scenarios, which is probably why it appealed to the IRS, leading them to procure a significant number of these pistols. Number 5, Smith & Wesson M&P 40 M2.0. I'm pretty sure none of you are a stranger to the M&P 40 M2.0. It's a polymer-framed, striker-fired pistol with a 4¼ inch barrel. Its frame is reinforced with a steel insert, providing enhanced strength and rigidity. The handgun also boasts an accessory rail located on the dust cover. With a 15-round mag capacity, it's no wonder the IRS was drawn to these, even though they already procured a sizable number of Glock 23s. The trigger operation is consistent and bears similarities in function to Glock pistols. However, a distinguishing feature of the M&P is its pivoting trigger safety, setting it apart from the inset blade type safety feature of Glock models. Number 4, FN57 pistol. Originating alongside the FNP-90 personal defense weapon, the 5.7 pistol chambered in the 5.7 by 28mm cartridge made its debut in 1998. Its notable 20-round capacity stood out, especially when compared to the Beretta M9's standard 15-round magazine. The high-capacity design mirrored that of the select-fire P90 and semi-automatic PS90, both of which utilized a generous 50-round magazine. The 5.7, with its featherweight polymer frame and magazine, combined a range of features, including ambidextrous controls, minimal recoil, and with specific ammunition types, the ability to penetrate body armor. Makes you wonder why the IRS would need these pistols, huh? Do tax evaders typically wear body armor? Number 3, Beretta 1301 Tactical. Off the shelf, the Beretta 1301 Tactical presents itself as a ready-to-use semi-automatic shotgun. It operates using Beretta's Blink gas system, featuring a cross-tube gas piston design. The recoil is impressively controlled, and features like the oversized charging handle are easy to pull, while the textured bolt release adds to its user-friendly operation. Given the 1301 Tactical's shorter barrel, it's perfectly suited for close-quarters combat, and, notably, for breaching doors. Not surprised that this shotgun is a favorite for IRS agents. Number 2, Smith & Wesson M&P 15T. The M&P 15T, an AR-15 type semi-automatic rifle from the renowned Smith & Wesson, boasts impressive accuracy. It operates seamlessly and has built a reputation for its dependability. Given Smith & Wesson's history with government contracts, it wouldn't be surprising if they provided the IRS with a generous discount on a bulk purchase. Shooting the M&P 15T is a delightful experience, making it an excellent choice for anyone looking for a dependable AR-15 rifle. Its precision and reliability have made it a favorite among law enforcement officers and, unsurprisingly, IRS agents. Number 1. H&K 416. Ah, yes, I almost forgot. The government doesn't want you to own an assault rifle, but IRS agents, the last people you'd expect to own these guns, have them. Yes? Rules for thee, not for me. Oh, and in case you're not aware, as an assault rifle, the H&K 416 is capable of fully automatic fire, unlike heavily neutered civilian AR-15s that can only fire in semi-auto. Keep in mind this was all before 2020. Given how well-equipped they were back then, we can only imagine their arsenal today. Reports show that the agency hasn't held back, with over $2.3 million spent on duty ammunition and an additional $1.2 million on ballistic shields. Moreover, a sum of $1.3 million was dedicated to some undisclosed equipment for their criminal investigation unit, which certainly piques curiosity, but that's just the beginning. They've invested $474,000 in Smith & Wesson M&P 15Ts, $467,000 on tactical lighting for duty, and $463,000 on Beretta 1301 tactical shotguns. And it doesn't stop with weaponry. The IRS has also acquired high-end gear bags for $354,000, $267,000 on ballistic helmets, and $243,000 worth of body armor vests. Completing their ensemble, they've opted for specialized holsters, tailored for optical sights and weapon lighting systems. With such a lineup, it seems the IRS is more than prepared for any eventuality, so those thinking of dodging their taxes might want to think twice. The IRS, established long ago solely for tax collection, has become a mini-me of the U.S. military in recent years. But it's not like they're the go-to agency during emergencies or criminal situations. Heck, you wouldn't call the IRS to stop a burglar who's trying to break into your home. And yet, they are armed to the teeth. Well. This overt militarization of any tax agency is worrisome. When one observes the IRS evolving into what resembles a paramilitary entity, it raises some serious red flags, especially among us taxpayers. America is fast becoming the next communist country, not too different from the likes of China and North Korea. Military forces handling external threats is way different than IRS agents going after tax evaders. Besides, the IRS has a bad reputation when it comes to customer service. We don't need them focusing too much on enforcing tax laws when they can't even help taxpayers navigate their tax collection system, which, by the way, is unnecessarily complicated. Heck, if they were doing their job properly, we wouldn't need to hire tax professionals. Personally, I find the militarization of the IRS cringeworthy. It's an agency tasked with one simple thing: collecting money. So it has absolutely zero reason to use lethal force. Now, I think, depending on a few things, it can be reasonable for some IRS agents to carry a small backup handgun in operations where things might go south. But becoming a small military unit is not just nonsensical, it's also stupid. Why? Because beyond practical issues, IRS going full retard, full Rambo, with its small-scale army, has legal and constitutional implications. The deployment of military-grade weaponry and tactics by a tax collection agency infringes upon our Fourth Amendment rights, which safeguard us from unwarranted searches and seizures. Additionally, it seems to tread on the Due Process Clause of the Fifth Amendment, ensuring that the government can deprive individuals of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. And there's also the Posse Comitatus Act to consider. This 1878 federal legislation essentially restricts the military's role in domestic law enforcement. Its purpose was to shield U.S. citizens from potential overreach by the federal armed forces, maintaining a clear distinction between federal and state jurisdiction. In essence, the Posse Comitatus Act dictates that the U.S. military should not play a role in enforcing civilian laws within the country, barring exceptions like natural disasters or specific congressional authorization. Unfortunately, whether this law can shield us from an armed IRS is anybody's guess. And that's all we have for you with this video. Do IRS agents carrying AR-15s and H&K 416s bother you as much as it bothers me? It's definitely a topic that has many people talking. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. If you like this video, please click on the like, share, and subscribe buttons. Thanks for tuning in.